What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Tactical Newbie, the channel where a newbie like me gets into all things tactical. With the funny movie introductions out of the way, per usual, like we always do, let's get right into today's video. So today's video is going to be yet another tactical comparison video for the tactical comparison segment. Today's video, though, is going to feature the Spiritus Systems MK4 placard in comparison to the Amazon clone, which is a KRYDEX placard system that's essentially just a direct knockoff of the Mark IV MK4 from Spiritus Systems. So as you can tell, there is pretty vast similarities. I'm trying to get a little bit of the glare out of the way between the two placard systems. Again, this is kind of a knockoff of the Spiritus Systems placard system within itself. So just like all the other videos before, you're kind of going to get basically a comparison between one to the other, or the Gucci version versus the essentially the Amazon clone. And then from there, you're going to get price points between the two, pros, cons, and everything in between. So that way you can kind of get a breakdown and kind of an analysis of basically what might work in your favor for more of a budget-friendly version of the same Gucci system, just in case you're looking to maybe conserve or save a couple extra dollars when your loadout system or building your loadout system. And then from there, hopefully you can expand that into other things, whatever the case may be. But with all the rambling out of the way, per usual, like I always do, we'll get right into the video, and I will see you guys on the other side. Alrighty guys, and away we go. So this is the Spiritus Systems Microflight MK4. Retail price is $122.85 versus the KRYDEX MK3. Retail price is $51.44. Breakdown for the Spiritus Systems Microflight. All the components for that placard will be in the later part of the video. We'll follow up first with the breakdown of the KRYDEX MK3 and kind of just showcase all the price points for everything. First, we'll start off with the actual KRYDEX placard itself. Retail price is $24.95. Basically, just do a full breakdown and kind of evaluation of everything that this placard comes with. Comes with four, I guess, staging or I guess attachment clips on both the top and bottom portion of the placard. Moving along to the bottom of the placard, this specific placard, similar to the Spiritus system, has three drain holes or ports to drain out any type of water buildup that might get in or dirt. Like you said, you will see a comparison between this and the Spiritus Systems MK4 and how similar, at least the localization of certain of these items are. From here, we'll take a look at the magazine, I guess, retention holsters. Retail price is $14.50 for those. Just right off the gate, the retention seems to be pretty good. Do have a little bit of slight issue re-indexing into each one of the slots, especially when all three magazines are in. I think that will eventually loosen up over a period of time and repeated use. I think obviously just coming out of the box, these things tend to be pretty tight, just obviously to keep up with a decent amount of retention, and then will hopefully loosen up over time. The overall dimensions and look of this specific placard are almost exact to the Spiritus Systems MK4. It's almost just a direct one-for-one clone, as you can see when I do the overview of the Spiritus Systems. We do have the front flap. Retail price is $9.99. Keep in mind that this is a half flap on this specific placard. They are currently sold out and I cannot seem to find them anywhere on Amazon. So the $9.99 price tag is actually for the full flap that will cover from point to point on the front face of the placard. So just take that in consideration, that if you're looking to purchase a half flap, Amazon currently doesn't have any more in stock, or at least as best of my ability that I can see. So you might have to order one from either Axle, which is kind of like a technical components company that sells aftermarket stuff like that, or go directly to Spiritus Systems. But all in all, as I stated before, this specific placard within itself is almost a direct one-for-one clone of the Spiritus Systems MK4. It's almost like tit for tat, the exact same, as you will see when we get a overview, more in-depth overview of the Spiritus Systems microflight.
If that's true, there's only one way to find out where Rocco's going to strike next. We're going to have to send someone into Statesville Prison.
I'll do it.
Frank, I wouldn't feel right about that. If Rocco finds out you're a cop, you might end up dead.
You might end up dead is my middle name.
What about Jane?
I don't know her middle name.
Alrighty, from here, working our way over to the Spiritus Systems Microflight MK4 placard. Retail price is $75.95 just for the placard itself. Keep in mind, very similar to the KRYDEX, you actually have to purchase some of the additional components separately, and they do not come directly with the actual placard itself. Taking a look at comparatively all the different features that this specific placard offers, it's same by comparison to what the KRYDEX placard offers. You have the 3 drain holes down at the bottom of the placard. Stitching seems to be comparatively good or comparatively on par with what I see with the KRYDEX placard within itself. Again, I am no seamster by any means, but just by a cross comparison, just visually looking at the stitching, I can't really see any differences between how this Spiritus Systems placard is stitched versus the KRYDEX placard within itself. As I have stated before, all in all, comparatively, just the dimensions and the overall look of both placards themselves are almost direct one-for-one clones of each other, which is something to take into high consideration when purchasing either one or the other. Obviously, the scope with this technical video is to showcase a more budget-friendly option. And with all things taken into consideration, if you can get a specific placard that is almost an exact clone of the Spiritus Systems placard and be able to pay a cheaper price for it, I think down the line just makes more sense across the board to go that route if necessary. Just kind of taking a look at the front hook and loop face of the placard within itself, and then taking a look at the half flap of the placard. Retail price is $21.95, so similar to the half flap for the KRYDEX version. It basically covers half of the face of the placard within itself, so that way if you wanted to slide in like a double 9mm magazine insert or anything like that to the open face, you could do so. Or if you just wanted to kind of keep it open and clean, just be able to drop any items in there that you needed without having to remove the flap. Still haven't fully figured out what exactly I'm going to do with that open side face, but all in all, we'll see down in the future. Next, looking at the magazine holsters, retail price is $24.95. So comparatively, the price seems to be actually at a decent markup, all things considered. Similar to the KRYDEX version, the actual retention is pretty tight. Did have a little bit of struggle both with re-indexing magazines into the slots. Obviously, these things should loosen up over a period of time. I just think they're actually right off the factory floor designed to be super tight because of the fact that they rather have super tight than loose, knowing that people are going to be indexing and re-indexing magazines at a repeated rate. But all in all, comparatively, these two products are almost exactly the same by comparison dimensions. And next we will work into magazine indexing.
I want you to picture a bullet inside your head. Can you do that for me?
Fuck you. Anyway, that's ambiguous.
Ambiguous? No, I don't think so.
No, I think he means that when you say picture it inside your head, okay, is that a bullet will be inside your head or picture it in your head, like
Harry,
form an
will you
image?
shut up?
He's got a point.
Alrighty, now moving along from here, similar to the Ferro Concepts Dope Flap comparison video, this is kind of just going to showcase just the similarities between the two products when it comes to indexing and re-indexing 5.56 magazines. It's just going to kind of showcase just obviously some of the stuff that I kind of touched on before, that the actual magazine holders or inserts are a little tight just right out of the gate. Obviously, them being tight, they should probably definitely loosen up over a period of time and repeated use. But if anything, this is kind of a cross comparison to show that both the Spiritus systems and the KRYDEX inserts both are fairly tight right out of the chute, especially when you have 3 magazines inserted at the same time. Now again, that's not necessarily a huge issue because, as I stated before, down the line they should loosen up, and I'd rather have a more of a tighter retention than a loose one. But all things considered, just kind of just shows just how everything's indexed in, and then of course how these magazines will sit when they're actually fully indexed and obviously attached to the placard at a future point, which that will also be showcased at a later point of this video. But yeah, all in all, that's kind of how we got there with the look. We'll then slide the magazines out and then work them into the KRYDEX variant version. Not really going to offer much commentary on that end. You're basically going to see a similar outlook as you did with the Spiritus systems, so I'll kind of dial back the commentary on that, let you see that, and then of course jump back in whenever necessary. One keynote to add here is I did notice that the final, at least magazine, trying to insert that into the insert, it looked like that the Velcro wasn't fully attaching to the inseam of the placard, or the hook and loop Velcro of the placard, so I did have to do some minor adjusting in order to get it fixed into place, so that way it can slide in the magazine. Alright, and with all 3 magazines in, as you can tell, as I've stated multiple times before so far in this video, you're almost looking at an exact replica of the Spiritus Systems version of this same placard. All in all, this is probably the closest in comparison that I've seen for a knockoff product, basically to be almost a one-for-one clone of the original OG Gucci version. But all things considered, highly impressed with the comparison between the 2 variations, and next we will go ahead and throw them onto the plate carriers.
I want to roll you into a little ball and shove you up my vagina. You could just live there. It's warm, it's cozy.
In your vagina?
I want to walk around with you in there and just know you. Whenever I feel a little tickle or scratch, that it's just your hair on my vagina.
Alright, now moving forward, very similar to what we have done with all the other technical comparison videos, we're going to go ahead and throw these bad boys onto the plate carriers. As you can tell, I currently have the Ferro Concepts dope flat pouch and the knockoff variant on both the Slickster plate carrier and knockoff plate carrier variant. So basically from here, same thing as we've done with all the other videos, we're just going to go ahead and slap these bad boys on, so that way you can kind of get a fit check of how these things look on the plate carrier. I'm going to keep the commentary to a minimum, and again, as usual, jump in as I see fit. But for the most part, it's just going to be pulling product A off and installing product B. So really don't need much commentary to showcase that stuff. But yeah, so enjoy the video, and like I said, I'll jump in as needed, and of course at the end of the video, and lead you guys out. Alrighty, and now with everything installed, we are basically at a wrap, so just kind of showcase a final look at both plate carriers with the newly attached placards, so that way again you can see the comparison between the two. All in all, this specific placard and its knockoff are basically bar none almost direct clones, and yeah. Alrighty guys, I hope you liked the video. Of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know what you think of today's tactical comparison video. Let me know what you think of previous tactical comparison videos within the tactical comparison segment that I featured thus far. Just a little bit of a breakdown of the feature of today's video. It was the Spiritus Systems Microflight MK4. I don't think I said that in the introduction, versus the Amazon clone. Again, just kind of did an overview of the pros, cons, similarities, differences, everything in between, so that way you can at least aim for more of a cost-efficient or savings or budget-friendly version of the Gucci placard system that you would get from Spiritus Systems. This is no way knocking Spiritus or any of the other Gucci gear across the board. This is just basically offering a more budget-friendly version if money was tight, but you were looking for something along those lines to be able to run, and then hopefully down the line maybe expand to the Gucci version whenever you have the funds necessary for it. But with all the rambling out of the way, I will of course like to touch on the same stuff that I always do. I do have a Patreon, links in the description below. Feel free to take a look at that. Have been dabbling in and out of the Patreon, trying my best to offer some new or different content from what you see on the YouTube channel, so that way you guys have a little bit more to see on the Patreon. Hopefully get you guys to subscribe. Keep in mind that your contributions on the Patreon do go to the channel, so those contributions hopefully down the line can help expand the channel and offer more fun or interesting content down the line, and help the channel grow. Aside from that, I do have a Twitter/X as well. Feel free to slide on past there and take a look. Same thing as I've said multiple times before. I'm not super heavy on the Twitter/X game, but for the most part, I try to be a little bit interactive to the best of my ability. But you can always go into at least reach me on Twitter/X, and from there, if there's any questions, concerns, or anything that you want to communicate to me about, you can feel free to do so there. Aside from that, it's pretty much the same stuff as before. So yeah, I will see you guys next week.